PSG, you said they won't get there with Mbappe. Not to be. He's going to Real Madrid next year, but his team's off to the big dance, taking on, and we all know Real Madrid, of course. They're playing at Wembley, June 1. But Borussia Dortmund, for those who don't follow the round ball game so closely, tell us about this club, Borussia Dortmund.
I mean, do you mind if we start at Real Madrid? Because we just heard their goals there, because it was unbelievable. And they do this all the time, right? They were 1-0 down to Bayern Munich with 2 minutes to go.
Harry's side.
Right? Yeah, that's Harry Kane's side. Harry Kane had been substituted, actually. And Joselu, this guy who scored twice, he is a journeyman centre-forward, right? He is not your, Real Madrid have Vinicius Jr. and Rodrigo and Jude Bellingham. They have all these superstars. Toni Kroos, Luka Modric still there, Camavinga, Tchouameni. And this guy is a guy who was playing for Stoke in 2015. He had a terrible time at Newcastle in the Premier League. And he's come here and he's come off the bench and he's scored 2 goals. And it just can't be a coincidence, right? Real Madrid just do this all the time. They were out again. And they had T-shirts printed up with Paula Kende, I think it is, which is for the 15th. This is their 15th European Cup. Wow. So someone had made them all going, hey, we'll get through this. Or they just had a box of them that they were going to incinerate, with 2 minutes to go. But it's just unbelievable.
So how long ago, Max, was it?
2 minutes. And they scored 2 in 2 minutes. Yeah.
There was 2 minutes to go. They're down 1-0.
Yeah. So they were going out.
Wow.
And so the Bayern Munich manager, Thomas Tuchel, had taken off Harry Kane and taken the strikers off, put on loads of defenders, say, we'll shut up shop. And they shut up shop until 2 minutes left. And their goalkeeper, Manuel Neuer, the German number one of the best German keepers anyway, he'd had a brilliant game and he spilt one, a really easy one. And it came out to this guy, Joselu. He scored again. And then right at the end of the game, there was this chance for Bayern Munich where it was a very tight offside call. The linesman put his flag up, shouldn't have done. Bayern Munich scored, but the ref had blown because the flag was up. The Bayern Munich players are furious. Thomas Tuchel is livid, but Real Madrid are in the final again. And you say they're playing Borussia Dortmund, and no one gave them a cat's house chance. Is that a saying? Anyway, no one gave them a chance of getting anywhere near the final of this tournament. They're 5th in the Bundesliga. Have they ever been
there before?
Yeah, they've won it once. They've been in it twice.
But
they haven't won it since 1997.
Most people won't even know where it is.
It is in Germany.
Oh, right.
Don't ask me any more details.
Wow. So if you're thinking about who's going to be the German side through...
You'd think it was Bayern.
It was Bayern Munich.
It's an unbelievable season for German football because Bayer Leverkusen are unbeaten. They've won the league. They're in the semi-final, second leg of the Europa League, which is tomorrow morning, live on stan.com.au, etc. But Borussia Dortmund's an amazing story. They got past Paris Saint-Germain. They shouldn't, player for player, they're nowhere near them. But that was a brilliant team performance. PSG did hit the post and the bar 6 times over the 2 legs. But they also didn't feel unlucky. They just didn't deliver. Mbappe's meant to be the best player in the world. He didn't deliver. Vinicius Jr. for Real Madrid delivered. He was unbelievable last night. But Real Madrid had a slice of luck. PSG didn't. Dortmund versus Real Madrid. Real Madrid will be the favourites by a long, long way. But you can never write off Borussia Dortmund.
Can I ask you this, Maxi?
You can ask me anything you like.
We're going to keep you after the news too soon, by the way. But I want to talk about Jude Bellingham. So he was with Borussia Dortmund. We'll talk about that after. But I understand he's gone to Real Madrid.
Oh, yeah. So
that'll be the big story.
Well, that is the big. So the big story we thought would be Kylian Mbappe for PSG playing against Real Madrid.
Yes.
Because he's off to Real Madrid. The big story now is Jude Bellingham, who moved to Real Madrid last summer. So he's been brilliant for Real Madrid this season. Unbelievable. He will almost certainly win England the Euros. If you look at history. Or maybe not, but he's a wonderful footballer. He plays with the 5 on his back, which is Zidane's number, and he plays like Zidane. He's got that grace about him. He's got that size and that control. He's a wonderful footballer. He didn't have a brilliant game last night. Actually, I think the Real Madrid, they gave him man of the match, but I didn't think he was at his best last night. But yeah, he was amazing for Dortmund. They sold him last summer, so for them to get to the final, having lost Bellingham and they lost Haaland the year before, is an amazing achievement.
Don't forget, Stan Sport, you can catch the UEFA Champions League Final live, exclusive, and in 4K on June 1st, live from Wembley Stadium. So it's June 2 here, I think you'll find it.
June the 1st there, June the 2nd there. Yeah.
Exactly right. Maxi Rushden staying here. We've got the news briefly. We are behind, but plenty more coming up here on the Run Home with Joel and Michelle Bishop. All thanks to who, Max?
The Hyundai Staria load. It fits in everything.
Correct, Mundo and Blunston. Thank you very much. Breaking back. You're listening to The Run Home with Joel and Michelle Bishop today. Thanks to Hyundai. You can drive away in a Hyundai Staria load van from $49,490. T's and C's apply. And Blunston, step into the new financial year with Blunston. Instagram, we're there at Joel Fletch, SEN, and Stan Sport, of course, have kindly allowed us to have a bit of time with Maxi Rushden. You can catch the UEFA Champions League Final live, exclusive, and in 4K on the 2nd of June, live from Wembley Stadium. Now, before we get back to the round ball, Maxi, I want you to have a listen to this. So we spoke about George Harrison, Here Comes the Sun.
Mm-hmm.
Well, here's Paul McCartney recently posting this on social media.
Okay.
And Paul McCartney, if you are listening.
Here for Paul, is he being a little bit Adrian?
How do you mean? I think he's just a nice man.
Just a
guy.
nice man?
Yeah, well, are you suspicious of his intentions?
Well, that's an Elvis song, but we're talking Beatles here, Max.
Yeah.
I'm not saying anything.
Yeah. Is he opening doors there?
I don't know what you're trying to insinuate.
Yes.
I think you're trying to get me in trouble.
Okay.
And I'm not going down that road.
Okay. Well, let's get back on the road.
I think he might. I mean, I don't know. I have no idea about Paul McCartney's intentions. I'm not an expert on him and his ways. He may be a wonderfully moral man. He may not.
No.
I couldn't say either way.
Okay.
But I mean, I'm happy to speculate. But
you're very uncomfortable outside your lane, which is the Beatles. So let's get yourself back in the lane.
Okay.
Let's get yourself back in the lane. Thanks to
Soccer,
Stan
football,
Sport.
ramble.
Premier League.
Yep.
Arsenal. You've been in every week for the last few weeks, Max, and it's been this tussle. But we keep saying the same thing. Man City, game up their sleeve.
Yeah.
Are they going to get there?
I think so. So Arsenal play Manchester United at the weekend. Man City play Fulham, if I remember correctly. So if you go to Fulham, you've got to win that. Fulham are not a terrible side at home, actually, but they're, Man City are flying. Manchester United are a total basket case. They got done 4-0 by Crystal Palace. They've got no fit centre-backs. They're playing these two old men at centre-back.
How did that happen?
I mean, they have had to be fair to them. They've got so many injuries that any club would suffer, but they have been pretty hopeless this season. And new owners have come in or got a minority stake, but are taking over the football side of it. I'd be very surprised if Eric Ten Hag keeps his job at Manchester United. They play Arsenal on Sunday. You can never totally write them off, but I would say Arsenal should win that. So then we're down to Arsenal have got one game left, and City have got two. And City's game on Tuesday night is away at Tottenham, who are Arsenal's biggest rivals. Now, Tottenham are on a terrible run, and this is their worst run for 20 years on around 4 defeats in a row, right? But the thing for Tottenham is...
For 20 years?
For 20 years.
They've not lost 4 games in a row?
No.
Wow.
In the Premier League. So this is their worst run for 20 years. But, I mean, with a bit of perspective, he's had a good season. From where they were last year, they lost Harry Kane at the start of the season. He's doing fine. Depends which way your season... if he'd started badly and finished strongly, everyone would be like, this guy's the new Messiah. But they could still catch Aston Villa, right? Aston Villa play tomorrow morning on Stan against Olympiacos. They're 2 goals down. They need to leave everything out there in the Europa Conference League. They've got 2 tough games, Villa, Liverpool and Crystal Palace. So they could feasibly lose those. So if Tottenham win all their games, they'd get in the Champions League. I know I'm talking quite quickly. No. There's a lot of information to digest.
Yeah, this cable's ripping your mic.
That's better, isn't it?
Yeah.
I was thinking. No one could hear what I just said. I know the listeners didn't hear a word of it, but it was absolutely incredible.
I better turn my mic on.
Yeah, do it.
Sorry, I want to go back to the old blokes. When we're talking old, how old?
Oh, they're like mid to late 36, 37.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, but this is the Premier League, so it's sort of different run of things. But I know what you mean. It does make me feel a bit sad. What's sad is when managers are younger than you, isn't it?
Oh,
yes.
Like the first time
that happens in coaching right now in the NRL.
The first time a player is older than you, like Michael Owen for me, I was like, I'm never going to make it. And now it's managers like the Dortmund managers like 43. You're like,
oh really? 43, and you're off to a Champions League final.
So Man City will probably win it, but it's still open, and that's what you want till the last day.
Can I ask you? You mentioned Eric Ten Hag, and you're thinking that he's skating on thin ice at the moment.
Yep.
Okay, so let's just assume Tata Tatiana Western Webb, he's gone.
Yep.
Is the Manchester United role still one of the most coveted roles in European sport?
Yeah, it is.
Still.
I mean, what you would say is since Sir Alex Ferguson has been there, no one has had a good time.
No.
So it's chewed up and spat out some, on paper, very good managers, successful managers in the past, like Mourinho, who I'm not a massive fan of, but he has been successful pretty much everywhere he's been. Louis van Gaal, of course. Moyes had a bad time there. Solskjaer had a bad time there. I'm probably forgetting 5 of them. But it's still the biggest club in the world, probably. So up with Real Madrid, up with Liverpool, up with Barcelona. So you can't turn it down. There's a lot wrong with that club, and the recruitment has been really bad. Like you say, they've got these old centre backs now. They've bought, they spent a lot of money on Casemiro as he's reaching the end of his career. The academy has bringing in a few players, but not amazing. So there's so much work to do. And the trouble is, like with all elite sport, right? You need time and you need patience, and you don't get any of it. But it'd be a fascinating job. The rumours are that Gareth Southgate is going to take it after the Euros. But
really?
I think Man United fans will be pretty meh
is
about
he coaching
that.
the English side? Yeah. Okay. What about the English Championship? Now, Ipswich will join Leicester in securing automatic promotion to the Premier League next season. So the Tractor Boys. Why are they called the Tractor Boys?
Because Ipswich is in East Anglia, Suffolk. They're in Suffolk. It's farmer territory. So when Ipswich play Norwich, like, Rangers and Celtic is the old firm derby.
Yes.
This is the old farm derby. So everyone just thinks they're sort of a bunch of carrot munchers out over there. I presume there's, it's like farming country here, right? But Ipswich actually is it's a lovely town, and it's got a huge catchment area. The manager, Kieran McKenna, who was a coach at Manchester United, has done amazingly. They were in League One last year. They got 90-plus points, got promoted to the Championship. Now they're in the Premier League. It'll be fascinating to see how they do.
What are the numbers, Max? So for those who don't follow it so closely, how many teams go up every year? Is it 4?
3 from the Championship into the Premier League,
Yep.
because you don't really have promotion and relegation here in any sport.
No.
It's totally mind blowing. It's like the biggest part of sport. It's like the hugest.
Accountability.
And if you can do it, and I know it's hard in the A League in soccer. Like, you need enough teams, right? And you need enough funding, and you need to be able to afford it. And I don't know the ins and outs of it, but I would have thought in AFL, NRL, you could easily have it.
Yeah.
And suddenly, none of the teams would vote for it. That's the problem. You'd never vote for it, and they probably have the votes. But it's a huge part of football. Like, my team, Cambridge, stayed up on the last day of the season. Like, it's the jeopardy. It means the season doesn't end.
And you have very few dead rubbers. Do you call them dead rubbers, or?
Meaningless. Meaningless.
You'd have
games.
very few of those, wouldn't you?
Well, also because below Ipswich and Leicester now, 4 teams go into the playoffs. So then, basically down to about 9th or 10th, you're probably playing in almost till the end of the season.
Yep.
And then the relegation was really tight here, so there are about 6 or 7 sides. There will be there'll be between 5 and 10 teams who might have a sort of mid-table, nothing season. But in League One, League Two, Championship, Conference, because there's 100 professional football teams.
So Max, 3 go up, 3 go down every year.
Yeah.
What are the question without notice? But off the top of your head, of the 3 that typically go up, what's the attrition rate the following year?
Well, of coming straight back down.
Yes.
So it's looking this season like all 3 will go down.
Right. Is that quite common?
Well, the year before, none of them did. So it's hard to pinpoint it. The gap between the rich clubs and the small clubs is ever widening.
Yes.
And the way that the money is distributed is very unequal. And of course, big teams always get more money. It's not a meritocracy. But there is huge debates about, is the gap ever wider? What does that mean? Relegation becomes such a huge... Well, there are a couple of big problems. Relegation becomes such a huge deal, but also getting promoted to the Premier League is such a huge deal that so many clubs in the Championship gamble, pay far too much in wages, and actually put the whole future of that club in jeopardy.
Yes.
So there are stories of clubs of speculating to accumulate, failing, and almost going out of business.
Wow.
So, there are real problems with ownership, and when you start talking about government regulation, it's not fascinating radio, but it's actually really important. And a regulator is coming in. The Premier League don't want it, but hopefully it'll be good for the game. Because these are community assets, These are things that should be like listed buildings. They mean something to the community, whatever sport it is. And that is much bigger than whether you win or lose each week.
As opposed to an owner going rogue because they've got ambitions to go there, whereas teams of fans have just been behind them for years.
Sure. Or an owner, or an owner just gets bored and takes his money away, and then you go, okay.
Yeah.
We've got some breaking news on David Feeder coming up shortly, but I just wanted to show you this bloke. So I was in the UK last year, and the owner of Lee Leopard said, come to my box.
Bishing alert.
And I sat next to him.
Bishing
he wasn't
alert.
very talkative. Who's this bloke?
Anthony.
Is he a big name?
Quite a big name.
Okay.
Yeah. Cost a lot of money. Has not been a great success.
Oh,
I
there
would
you
say.
go.
But I hope you had a nice time.
Yeah, well, he didn't say much, but the footy was on. But do we go to some breaking news?
We will. Maxie, thank you very much. All thanks to Stan Sport. I'll get you to break the news.
Oh, yeah, huge news.
Hang on.
Max,
all thanks to Stan Sport. You can catch UEFA Champions League final live, exclusive, and in 4K on June the 2nd, live from Wembley Stadium. Now, Max has achieved a lot in rugby league, but right now, according to whom, we'll get the details, but Michael Chammas is reporting what, Max?
David Fafita signing for the Roosters, a 4-year deal, $3.3 million. Is that a year or over the 4 years?
Over the 4 years. So he's getting $1 million a year at the moment, so it's a haircut.
Okay.
How are you feeling right now if you're the Penrith Panthers?
Well, devastated for me and all my Penrith brethren.
And
but delighted for... Where do the Roosters play?
So what's that last line?
Bondi.
The Bondi Roosters. That's a nice spot,
Sydney
isn't it?
Roosters.
Uncle Nick trumps the 3-time premiers. Now I'm just reading out what you could say.
So what does that
anything
mean?
to me
What does that mean to you?
Means absolutely
Nick,
nothing.
Uncle Nick trumps the 3-time premiers.
That means absolutely nothing to me, but it probably means that I'm not going to get breakfast at SEN if I expose this level of ignorance, am I?
That's exactly
anyway,
right.
I've got a moussaka to reheat.
The boss of the Roosters. Thank you very much,
done,
Max.
Well done, Roosters.
Well done, Roosters. David Feeder, breaking news. Michael Chammis